Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We're doing Malbec today, going to Argentina. Very interesting story about that. I don't know if you remember, but about, 2008, 2009, this category was just smoking. I mean, you could not keep Malbec on the shelf, and that lasted for quite a while. I wrote a couple of articles about that, though, kind of saying, don't put all your bets on Malbec as a country. Remember what happened in Australia and Shiraz, and how they were on fire quite a bit longer now, because Malbec has now kind of petered off as far as sales go. At least at my store, they do not have the thunder they had 5 years ago. Not even close. People still like Malbec, they still enjoy it, they still buy it, but not at the level they used to. I used to be able to put a stack of Malbec on the floor and boom, it'd be gone. And what we're seeing now is a lot less of the $10 range Malbec is starting to creep up in price. So it's kind of interesting to watch that and see what's going on. The problem that I've always had with, not the problem, the issue I've had with Malbec is a lot of them are like vanilla ice cream. They all taste the same. It's hard to find, especially in that lower price range, it's hard to find interesting Malbec in those lower price range. I have found them, and I do carry them, but yeah, it's an issue, and I hope that people realize that there's really a lot of good Malbec out there. Before I get started on reviewing these, I'm getting quite a bit more views. Thank you very much to those of you who are watching, and I hope you're enjoying these. I enjoy doing them. But I'd like to have some ideas. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to review? What types of wines do you want to review? Would you like me to do a couple episodes with something else, perhaps some educational videos? I mean, we do educational videos, but like how to taste, about decanting, things like that. Is there something you want to see? Make a comment down below or email me, and I'd be happy to include those episodes in the future. So, Mendoza, high plains, desert-like, 8.9 inches of rain a year, so it's considered desert. It's close to the Andes Mountains, so they get a lot of water from the snow melt of the Andes, and they, of course, channel that water and irrigate with the water from the Andes, so it allows them some control on how much water they give and the ripening process and all that. So, beautiful condition, 3,000 to 4,000 feet elevation, very little disease, very little pests. It's alluvial soil, so it has sand, clay, and deposits from rivers. They have I believe it's pronounced gneiss pebbles that makes for an interesting dynamic in the wines. So the terroir is really good for growing grapes. Diurnal shift is huge. That's the difference between the nighttime and daytime temperatures. So at night, of course, with the higher elevation, you can only imagine, it gets cooler. And then in the daytime, it's a lot warmer. In fact, almost hot. The cool thing about that with Malbec is that Malbec needs hot weather. But by the fact that it's cooler in the evening allows the growers to control the length of time it takes for those grapes to ripen. So Malbec that is ripened quickly tends to be flabby, less acidity, whereas these wines from Argentina have higher acid. The other place where they can grow Malbec really well is Washington. Same idea. It gets cooler at night, warm during the day. Great conditions for growing Malbec. So you can imagine there's a lot of Washington Malbec out there. All right, let's get started. I have two in the $10 range, one in the $20 range, and there's two areas in Argentina, in Mendoza in particular, sub-regions of Mendoza, the Uco Valley and the Lucan de Cuyo are two of the premium areas of growing. So if you see that, if you see the Uco Valley, Val de Uco, or you see Lucan de Cuyo, you know that you're probably getting the better wines of Mendoza. And so there you go. Cool thing about this first one, there you go. Great segue, Stan. Anyway, Domaine Bousquet, hopefully I'm saying that right, Scott, Mr. Murphy. Malbec 2016, made with organically grown grapes from the Tupangado Valley. Wasn't it $10? And another thing about the area, the soils and all that, we may be seeing more organically grown grapes coming from from Mendoza because of the growing conditions, because of the lack of pests and all of that. Interesting, Washington State also has a lot of alluvial soil. They grow their grapes in. Let's see what we get on the nose. Get a little bit of tar, a little bit of dark cherry, getting a little bit of blackberry, some tobacco coming through. All right, let's see what we get on the palate. Dark cherries, plums, blackberries, all kind of well integrated. Good acidity, good backbone acidity. Sometimes when you're drinking wine, it kind of dries out your mouth, and it's like you can't talk. And I have, I'm not the, what's the word? I'm not glib in the first place. So there you go. Very simple, thorny basic Malbec. Acid, blackberries, plums, not a lot going on. I would call this sort of a one-dimensional Malbec. And this is one of those Malbecs that somebody might buy, and I'm sure there's people going to like it because it's $10. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's very simple. And it's one of those kind of Malbecs you try a few times, you just get tired of it. Now, true, there are people that drink the same wine every day, day in and day out. Maybe they do that because they don't want to think about it. They just want some wine there to drink. They don't want to think about it. That's why people go to Wendy's. That's why people go to Burger King. Why they go to McDonald's. Because they just want to not think about it. They want to go there, buy what they like, and move on. Simple enough. A lot of you, most of you out there that watch this, part of my wine group, that go to my wine tastings, you are looking to expand your palate horizons. You are looking for something interesting, something that shows complexity, something that's a good value. This is not, I wouldn't call this, it's $10, yeah, it's cheap. It tastes cheap. It's simple. It's acid. Go good with burgers. If you want to wash down a burger, if you want to wash down a pizza, this is great. $10, knock yourself out. That's good. I don't carry any of these, by the way, at the store, so don't come down to the store and ask me. I might bring them. This is the first time I tried these, so I'm going to go C minus C. It's not terrible. Doesn't have any flaws. It is just simple. Let's move on. The 2015 Portillo Malbec Bodega Salentin. This is from the Valdiuco, Mendoza, Argentina. This rolls in also at $10. So I'm curious to compare. This is a Tupangado Valley, and this is the Valdiuco, the area we're talking about where they grow some really killer Malbec. Now when I say they grow some really good Malbec, believe it or not, and maybe some of you have seen it, they have Malbec out there $80 to $120. Now a lot of us wouldn't think of buying a Malbec at that price. Catania Zapata is an example. It rolls in around $100. I've had it before. Very good wine. Most of us, we have no problem going for a big Washington producer, laying that down, or going for some Napa Valley Cab or some Bordeaux. We don't mind spending the coin on that. And we think about those in terms of laying down. But there are very many excellent Malbec out there that are very worthy of putting in your cellar and letting them age. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes we tend to get, narrow-minded. Well, if I'm going to lay something down, I'm going to spend $80. I'm not going to do it from something from Argentina. but there are great wines from Argentina. And unfortunately, because it flooded the market with these inexpensive Malbec, people have trouble spending more on Malbec, which is funny. Kind of ironic in a way, because there's a ton of Central Coast cabs out there that are inexpensive and people buy them all the time, but they have no problem thinking, oh, Napa Valley cab, I'm going to spend $100 and I'm going to put it away, it's worth it. Well, you know, there are Malbec that fall in that same category. So let's see what we get on the nose of the Portillo. Got a little bit of a rant there. So not as, it's interesting, not as expressive as the first one. Getting a little bark, a little tobacco, a little dark cherry. I'm getting some interesting kind of almost like carnation, but not quite carnation, just a trace of carnation and red flowers. Let's see what we get on the palate. Huge difference. Huge difference between these two. This is deeper, has good dark cherry notes, little tannic grip on the backside, good acidity, well integrated. It expands on the mid palate, goes into the finish, a little bit of tobacco, a lot of red flowers. I love that. I love red flowers on my red wines. Don't know why, I just do. That's me. Maybe you don't, but I do. Nice blackberry comes through on the mid palate, joins that cherry notes. I like that little grip on the backside. This now is much serious. $10. I'm very interested in this wine. I think it's a good expression of Malbec, big time. It's Palm Bay. So I know where I might be able to get some of this. Good stuff. I might bring some of that in because I think that's really good. For that kind of money, you get good complexity, good fruit, good tannins, good acidity. I would not be afraid to lay this down for 5 years. Not at all. Not at all. A little bit of minerality on the backside. Yeah, $10. Now I looked this up on Wine Searcher because I have no idea where I got it. I had no idea. And if I got it from the place I think I got it from, impossible to read their catalog and understand what you're going to really get it for. It's ridiculous. Anyway, good integration, good food wine. I would go burgers, I would go ribs, I would go stews, I'd go steak. This is a great wine. I mean, really awesome. I'm going to go B+, straight up B+ on a $10 Malbec. Let's move on. This is the Trevento Golden Reserve Malbec from Lucan de Colegio, Mendoza, 2014. So this is that premium area. This rolls in at $19. So a little bit more of the color on that. It's amazing. Man, it's just coating the glass. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. I mean, that color is just crazy. Look at that. Look at the glass. Look at the coating on that glass. It's amazing. A little wine peakiness going on here. Cujo. See what we get on the nose. You can tell right off the bat. I mean, the color on this is incredible. Well, I showed you the glass. Not a lot of room to move here. Okay. I mean, this is crazy color. I'll try and get it off of my shirt, which is dark, but crazy color, really. Well, let's see what we get on the nose. I definitely get ripe, almost like Marion boysenberry sort of thing with dark cherries. There's tobacco coming through, and I get like a cherry liqueur thing going on. but it doesn't feel, there's no heat on the nose. I'm curious what the alcohol on this one is. Let's see if we can find it real quickly. 14%. 14.5. But you don't get it on the nose, you really don't. I don't sense it. But at the same time, I get like kind of almost like a liqueur sort of thing going with the cherries. Let's see what we get on the palate. You can feel the heat a little bit on the palate, but boy, let me tell you, this is a stunner. Just intense fruit. Plums, blackberries, cherries, but very seamless on the palate. I mean, it's intense right from the start, with underlying tobacco notes. Nice little, like rose petals and lavender coming, no, not lavender, rose petals and coming through underneath, right on the finish. And then it gets this like serious grip, very fresh, good acidity, well integrated. Like that tannic grip on the back end. A little bit of minerality coming through, a little bit of crushed rock. Little meat action, almost like a roasted meat action on the back end. Sweet tannins up front, then they turn fresh and get a grip to them. Very interesting wine. Very interesting wine. But Le Conde Cujo is an area where you expect to get a little better wines. When you get up in the $20 range, you start expecting that quality. I'm very impressed with this Malbec. I have no idea where I got it. I have not a clue. So I'm hoping one of my sales reps is watching this and leads me to where I need to go, because this is also a very nice Malbec. $20 range. A lot of you have gotten spoiled with those $10 Malbecs. Maybe you don't drink them as much as you used to. But I want you to start thinking, maybe notch it up just a step and go up into the upper tier around 20 bucks. Because I know a lot of you have no problem spending $20 on a cab, spending $20 on a red blend, spending $20 on a Petite Syrah, spending $20 on a Zinfandel. But for some reason, and I blame Argentina for their marketing on this one, they think if it's $20 Malbec, it's not worth it. This one is worth it. Trust me. This is an amazing Malbec. It has everything you're looking for. It has fruit, structure, acidity, balance, ageability. It's a great one. I'm going to go A- on that wine. I think it's a great wine. So there you go. Hopefully you learn a little bit about Argentina and Mendoza in particular and Malbec. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.